trust, yeah, now I'm on the chase for the same shit. I hear the sirens in the lake and wanna chase them. Beauty on the out, but I'm surrounded by the fake shit. Beast in a maze, sing about freedom like a bird in a cage. That's a whole different pain. Calling up my homies and it's hard to explain, yeah, it's hard to explain. Staying on my mind on the usual. Wanna call you up like we used to do. Tell you all the things I could do for you. Nah, 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 to me, nah, 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 right now. Staying on my mind on the usual. Wanna call you up like we used to do. Tell you all the things I could do for you. Nah, 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 to me, nah, 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 right now. I wonder if you're social lately. I wonder if you're always fucking sober or emotion roller coaster, barely coasting, hardly coping. Wanna call me, but you never push that motherfucking button. Change on me. What about us? What about the times when you feel like you can trust? Yeah, now you wanna chase for the same shit. You hear the sirens in the lake and wanna chase them. Beauty on the out, but you're surrounded by the fake shit. Beast in a maze, sing about freedom like a bird in a cage. That's a whole different pain. Calling up your homies and it's hard to explain. Yeah, it's hard to explain. Staying on my mind on the usual. Wanna call you up like we used to do. Tell you all the things I could do for you. Nah, 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 to me, nah, 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 right now. Staying on my mind on the usual. Wanna call you up like we used to do. Tell you all the things I could do for you. Nah, 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 to me, nah, 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 right now.
What's up, everybody? Peace, and peace and respect. This is Prime Sports Media. Haven't gone live on this channel in quite a bit. I did drop a video last week, and I did say that I'm getting back on the saddle here. I have a lot to talk about today for a short period of time, but it'll be loaded with lots of information that you will enjoy. A lot is happening, as you know, during this offseason in Colorado with Coach Prime. Of course, we know he's been building through the transfer portal. He's rebuilt the offensive line. And from what I understand, he's at the Super Bowl right now doing the media days that they're having there. And Prime says that the offensive linemen that he has been able to recruit and get over to CU, that he has talked to NFL scouts that have an NFL grade. He says that these offensive linemen, which is different in what they had the following year, is that these guys really know what it takes to play offensive lineman at the college level. And that a lot of these guys that are on that offensive line, that's really going to do a great job. I think they can do a great job, at least better than what we saw last year with the things that Shedeur went through, that I think we're going to see much improvement in the way he gets the protection that he needs to make things move smoothly for him. Because remember, Shedeur went down as the most sacked quarterback in last year's season. They are going to be starting a whole new season and a whole new conference, as we have talked about on this channel before. Many people have made talk about this. They've got North Dakota State, they got Nebraska, they got Colorado State, Arizona, Utah, which is coming right out of the Pac-12. They got Baylor, Oklahoma State. They got Kansas State. They got Cincinnati, Kansas, and Texas Tech, and UCF next year. Now, I got to be honest, the schedule can be misleading because it is not as tough as the schedule they had in the Pac-12 just a year ago, but it doesn't mean that any of these teams are a pushover. But Coach Prime and his team, they're getting it primed together to be successful. I'm very excited because the offensive line is much improved. Now, it's in terms of on paper, it's much improved, but I think it's much improved because the young men that they picked up are guys who have had experience. And as Coach Prime, I'm going to play a audio for you today as Coach Prime breaks it down and explains why he has done his research on these guys. And a lot of them have an NFL grade on them, meaning these are guys that will potentially or could potentially get to the next level of the NFL. Now, speaking about the NFL, I want to say this. We've all been waiting to find out who is Coach Prime going to hire as the defensive coordinator of this team. Now, he has picked this young man right here, who I'm going to bring up here, and he has picked this young man right here. This is Robert Livingston. What's going on, Patricia? I see you in the chat room. Everybody in the chat room that comes in, thank you. And people that will watch this, many more people will watch this on the replay. So I appreciate all of you. I give you much respect. Again, with a clap. Now, this young man has a background. I'm going to break down his background because I think it's going to surprise you. But I'm going to be honest. I really believed that it was going to be between Zimmer, and I'm going to put him up here in just a minute, because we always say it's about relationships, right, folks? It's about the relationships that coaches have with other coaches, relationship that players who turn coaches like Prime have with coaches, whether it be the NFL or whether it be college. And so this is why at one point in time, I thought, okay, could it be Zimmer? Could he be the answer? He's been around the team. He's been around Coach Prime ever since the Jackson State days, where he was consulting the team. He's done some consulting with CU over this past year. And the question was, would he be the defensive coordinator? Looks like it ain't happening, obviously, because he's picked Robert Livingston. Right now, there's a rumor out there that Zimmer might be up for the defensive coordinator job for the Dallas Cowboys. And then another rumor out there is that the Vikings are potentially looking for his services. So this could be a reason why Zimmer is out of the picture for Coach Prime, obviously, because remember, Coach Prime gave a vaunted speech amongst his team and his coaches, saying that we've got to get NFL type talent into this team, coaching the defense, and I'm going to take my time to get the best that's available for me to get. Okay, so Zimmer was someone that potentially could have been the defensive coordinator, but then once again, it's about relationships. Then you've got Ken Norton Jr. And I want to thank the Truth Reality LLC. We got R.A. Wilson. I apologize. I have not been live on this channel. I've dropped some videos over the last 2 weeks. Have not gone live in a while. So I want to let everybody out there knows who enjoys this channel, enjoys the content, that will be jumping back on the saddle and going live on this channel more, as I had previously said that I would do. You know, life gets in the way, things happen, so you have to make those priorities when it comes to family. But I'm back, and I'm glad to be live right now. So Ken Norton Jr., I thought, was also a good decision that he could have made, because Ken Norton has legitimate NFL experience as a player, both a player and a coach, in terms of being a assistant coach, in terms of coaching the linebackers. I believe at one point in time, if I'm not mistaken, Ken Norton Jr. was the defensive coordinator of the Seattle Seahawks. If I'm incorrect, folks, let me know in the chat room, okay? Also, let's not sleep on the fact that Ken Norton Jr. did some coaching for a short time at USC. So what it tells me is that Ken Norton Jr. has not only professional experience as both a player, a great linebacker. He played with the 49ers, won a Super Bowl, played with the Dallas Cowboys, won Super Bowls, and he did some coaching with Seattle for some time. He's been around great players. He knows what it takes in the trenches of football. I thought that he would have been a great pick. Now, because I was thinking that Coach Prime would pick someone who's got a lot of experience. Now, Robert Livingston, it's not that he doesn't have experience, because he has, I got to say, the young man has I'm going to put him up here again. He has a lot of experience as a coach with the Cincinnati Bengals. We're going to go over his career. He also, this young man had some experience, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, not only coaching the Bengals, but was he at, I heard some rumors, was it Vanderbilt? Did he spend any time? Put in the chat room. This is about us working together through this. Was it Vanderbilt? I think he had some, if I'm not mistaken, this young man had some college experience, but he has spent most of his time since 2012 helping the Cincinnati Bengals defense. He was never a head coach in college. He was never a defensive coordinator, but he was mainly an assistant coach at a position of handling the secondary, particularly mainly the safeties. One of the things that I think what we get with him that we don't get in terms of his long-term experience as a coach, but he has a lot of experience. I mean, he has coaching experience, but he doesn't have defensive coordinator experience like a Ken Norton Jr. or Zinnemer or someone of that nature. What he does have is the experience of boosting and improving the safety position on the Bengals. So there are some players, two players in particular. If I'm not mistaken, we got Jessie, Bates, who he made into an all-pro, y'all, okay? There's another player on the Cincinnati Bengals team, Vonn Bell, who he has worked with in development. So what I noticed about Robert Livingston, when you look at his background, I'm going to explain more of his background, he's a pretty damn good secondary safeties coach, turned now defensive coordinator for the Colorado Buffs. But what I think will be his strength, where he may lack long-term experience as a defensive coordinator, either at college or pro, is that I think he has a gift and a skill for player development, meaning improving players, making the players better, which obviously is what you want a coach to do, right?
Tell the truth.
And we're going to get into more details about what he did for those players with the Bengals and what he is bringing to the table of Colorado. But I just wanted to go over players, player coaches like a Ken Norton Jr. I think that when you get a guy that comes in like Coach Prime, coaching, and was a player, it adds a different element, which is why Warren Sapp is going to be a fantastic addition. I'm going to go over that as well, more in detail as what his role is going to be with the Colorado Buffs this upcoming 2024 season. He's excited. We're going to play some audio of him speaking. I've got some video of Robert, your new defensive coordinator for the Colorado Buffs for the 2024 season. I've got some video of him breaking down how he looks at college in comparison to the pros. I've got video of him breaking down his experience because Robert Livingston started as a scout. That's how he got in the door to being an assistant coach or being a position coach, by way of being a scout with the Bengals. And this is very important when it comes to recruiting, the transfer portal, that you have coaches, you bring someone like Robert on the team who can understand college football and where college football is going compared to where pro football is going, and that he explains that there's similar skill sets. But the fact that he was also a scout says that works volumes for the recruitment, because you send someone like him out to be able to evaluate players that he needs in that secondary as a defensive coordinator. This is going to possibly be great. I know that Robert Livingston is not the flashy name that everyone was looking for.
Tell the truth.
But you got to look deeper behind the surface to see the other qualities that he brings, and I'm going to explain that to you today. Now, with that said, I have to be honest here. The next man, this is who my preferred choice would have been for CU to hire as their defensive coordinator, because he actually has more experience outside of Zimmer than Ken Norton and this young man, Livingston, that Coach Prime has now made official. He is the man for them. But I really think, and this is just my opinion, that we can't sleep on someone like Lovie Smith. I'm going to tell you, and I thank everybody coming in the chat room, everyone that's here, appreciate your support, those that are here right now. The thing that really concerns me is that, or really bothers me, is that Lovie Smith has all the pedigree. This man, if I'm not mistaken, was a coach not once, but twice in the NFL. He was the head coach, if I'm not mistaken, of the Chicago Bears, right? Right?
Tell the truth.
He was the head coach of the Texans. Now, the Texans, I think, was a raw deal for him. I think he got put in a bad situation with a bad football team that he was trying to rebuild. He didn't get enough time that he needed to get them where they needed to be, and ultimately he lost his job there. When he originally got hired with the Chicago Bears, Lovie Smith was seen as a defensive guru, meaning he had experience as a defensive coordinator in the NFL and was hired for his ability to really improve and create dominant defenses, both when he got hired with the Chicago Bears and also when he got hired with the Texans. Also, he has experience as a head coach at the college level, and you have heard this, and this is the facts. Lovie Smith understands the transfer portal and how it works, because when he coached at Illinois, he had to take advantage of that system that Coach Prime has shown you that he's the best at. So when you look at just overall pedigree, I personally believe that Lovie Smith would have been, from an experience point of view, the better fit for me personally. But Coach Prime and the staff, they know what they're doing. They know what they want. They know what they're looking for. And there's something about Robert Livingston that Coach Prime and the coaching staff there at CU have an eye for. And I'm going to tell you what that eye is. I'm going to break that down for you in just a moment right here. He has from what I understand, he has great relationships with his players when he was coaching in Cincinnati for the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay. And that, once again, he has that player development skills. Okay. Livingston, who was working with the Bengals, as I said before, since 2012, helped the Cincinnati Bengals in their defensive secondary. He got them to ranking to number 3 in the NFL in pass touchdowns allowed in 2022. So in the year 2022 of the NFL season, when Robert Livingston was coaching as a safeties coach with Cincinnati, he was involved very heavily with improving their defense, particularly in their secondary, where they became the 3rd ranked NFL passing touchdown allowed, meaning that means that they didn't give up a lot of touchdowns. He coached the safeties. That's a very important, meaning we're hoping that Robert Livingston brings this same pedigree to your CU, to your Buffs. Now we've got Patrick Williams, who says, Prime Sports Media, I don't think he'll be relatable to the players. Well, we have to see, because this is what he did with players in the NFL. Now, let me move on here. Just hear this out. Livingston began with Cincinnati as a scout, as I said before becoming a coach in 2015, and was the defensive back coach for the Bengals. As you already know, he coached in 2016. He specifically coached the Bengals safeties the last 6 seasons and has worked with standout players such as Jessie Bates. And let me put Jessie Bates up here for y'all right now. Jessie Bates, y'all. And I hear what you're saying. Don't get me wrong. I hear what you're saying because, like I said, I would have preferred a more seasoned defensive coordinator like someone like a Ken Norton Jr. We know what Zimmer background is in the NFL, coaching the Vikings and being a defensive coordinator, and looks like the Dallas Cowboys, as I said earlier in the podcast, looks like Dallas is looking for him potentially. There's rumors about the Vikings wanting to bring him back into the fold. But I told you that Lovie Smith, in my opinion, out of everybody that Coach Prime could have brought in that I believe could be available, I believe that Lovie Smith had, in my opinion, the more better pedigree because he was a proven, before he became a head coach, he was a proven defensive guru in the NFL. That's what he was known for. He was known for that. Okay. Now Jesse Bell, as I want to put him up here real quick again. Jesse Bell had a great career under the coaching of Robert Livingston, y'all. Okay. Jesse Bates, not Bell, because we got Ron Bell. I want to get these names right. We got Ron Bell, who's another person that he improved, but it was Jesse Bates, who you see on the screen, who became an all-pro under Livingston. Bell had 4 interceptions. Now, Bell is the other guy that he improved in the safety position for Cincinnati. Bell had 4 interceptions in 9 games for Cincinnati in 2022 before leaving for a big contract with the Carolina Panthers. Okay, so what we have here is a young man who has proven at the pro level that he can contribute to the improvement of a defense on a football team, and he can engage in player development. That's why I said earlier, what he may not have in experience as a defensive coordinator, I think that his player development skills, we might be sleeping on it, and he could do something with what he did at Cincinnati. He might be able to improve the secondary on this team when he's able to talk to these young men. We know that Shallow Sanders plays a safety. He could actually, if he can elevate professional safeties to get better at the NFL level, how could we deny that he could potentially improve what someone like Shallow is doing at safety or whoever's playing back there? Or will potentially start back there. We know Shallow will be in the mix. So you say, well, I don't think he's relatable. We don't know this yet. And I think it's easy to become emotional because he's not the sexy pick. We wanted the sexy pick. We wanted to see him hire someone like an Ed Reed, right? We wanted to see a big personality, someone similar to a Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp has a big personality. We remember as a great football player. So when we hear about him coming on board with CU, it's exciting. It makes us want to shout. It makes us want to clap. But we can't sleep on Robert Livingston because I think his background coming from being a scout, working himself up through the small ranks of Cincinnati, and he's been with Cincinnati for a number of years. He's had a long tenure there. In the NFL, folks, they don't keep you around. NFL means not for long. If you really break it down, what the word NFL means, not for long. And in the NFL, there's high turnover with coaches, and if you're not doing a good job, they get rid of you sooner than later.
Tell the truth.
Am I lying? If you agree with me, put sevens in the chat room because they will get rid of you. So for him to have been in a long tenure with Cincinnati shows you that he was doing something right. Now I'm going to play a video for you where he's asked the question, why Colorado? Why now? He talks about his family. He talks about, obviously he's a young guy. He is, let's be honest, he probably took the job because he wants to do what? He wants that on his resume. He wants to have on his resume, and what young coach wouldn't, that he's been a defensive coordinator. Because the way you move up the ranks as far as getting a head coaching job or maybe even a job in the NFL is that they always say you need to be a defensive coordinator or an offensive coordinator, something one step close to being a head coach. That's what they tell people. Even though we're seeing guys in the NFL who are position coaches getting head coaching jobs over people in the NFL who look like you and look like me who are getting overlooked. Now, that's a whole another story for another day, but let's just keep this real, okay?
Tell the truth.
Let me tell you some more about Robert Livingston's background. I really appreciate you all being here. Let's put some more up here about him. Robert Livingston is in his ninth season. So he spent 9 seasons with Cincinnati. That's pretty good. Like I said, most guys don't last. Some of these coaches don't last that long. There's always turnover. Robert Livingston is in his 9th season of the coaching staff in 2023. Livingston, 8th season with the title of secondary coach and 6th with specific focus on Bengals safeties. In 2022, Livingston once again worked with elite safeties duos consisting of Jessie Bates, as I said before, the third, and Vonn Bell, who both started all 16 games and led the Bengals in defensive snap played. Bates and Bell tied for the team's lead with 4 interceptions, each of a career high for both players under the coaching of this young man right here. Okay? Played in key roles in Cincinnati's holding opposition passers to a lead low 58.9 completion percentages. Livingston also helped develop, as I said before, he has the ability to develop players. Rookie Dox Hill, the Bengals' first-round draft pick, who played in 15 games with 2 starts. In 2021, Bell 97 and Bates 88 ranked 2nd and 3rd respectively on the team in tackles. They made several impact plays during the team run to Super Bowl, okay, including Bell picking off Kansas City quarterback Patrick Mahomes overtime of the AFC Championship those years ago. In 2012, Bell 114 and Bates 107 were the team's top 2 tackles, while Bates additionally tied for 6th in the NFL. So basically, in the nutshell, they are crediting this young man for the improvement of these 2 great players who played for the Bengals in the NFL around this particular time. Okay, Livingston in the secondary helped the defense to significant turnaround over the final 8 games of the Bengals held opponents to just 59.3 completion percentages. This is in 2019. So every year since he's been with the team before coming to CU now, his secondary, particularly the safeties, they were improving. Livingston helped spur the development of Bates, a 2nd-round pick of the Bengals during the rookie season of 2018. Bates started all 16 games, recording 3 interceptions and becoming just the 6th rookie ever to lead the Cincinnati Bengals in tackles with 111. That's this young man right here. And this is the coach from the time these guys came into the team that improved their skills, got them to the top level of being one of the top players on the team in tackles. He made Jessie Bates an all-pro in the NFL, got their defense ranked up there in terms of stopping teams from being able to get a lot of touchdowns on them and passes on them and what have you. This is a small piece of what Robert Livingston, I hope, will bring to the table to CU, because it's college football. And what do you do in college football? College football is about player development. College football is about improving year to year, but improving during the offseason. Offseason program, getting guys conditioned, getting guys in shape, getting guys to understand where they need to be in the right position to make a play, the right mindset. I think whatever he did at Cincinnati, and I'd read off his record. I don't know how many people have broke down his record to you like this, but whatever he did at Cincinnati, it was working because he was damn near there for, 8 to 9 seasons. So therefore, even though he's not the sexy name, as I said before, he can certainly, I think, do something with that background and those skill sets. I think he's strong in his player development skills as a coach. Don't tell me that CU don't need those players that they're picking up as college, as high school players being recruited, and even transfer portal guys, that they wouldn't benefit from him using the same techniques that he used with professional football players in that secondary to improve them, while at the same time being the defensive coordinator of CU. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Let me know. Put 7s in the chat room. I'm trying to make a case for Robert Livingston, because I know a lot of people were expecting someone with a more sexier name and a more sexier pedigree, y'all.
Tell the truth.
And I understand that. Now, let me do this better. Let's hear from Robert Livingston himself as it relates to the idea of what it takes when you look at the differences between coaching at college and the pros. And I want to do this very respectfully, because federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyright motion picture, video, tapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. Fair use allows for the purpose of criticism, news reporting, teaching, parody, which does not infringe of the copyright under 17 USC 107, y'all. And with that said, let's hear what he's got to say.
You came in as a scout for 3 years before taking over the safeties and DB room. How did that help you prepare to be a coach, especially in this organization where the scouts and coaches work so closely?
Yeah, when I came here, I came from Vanderbilt, and I had been coaching there, and always wanted to see kind of behind the curtain, like the Wizard of Oz, like what's really back there at the NFL. So I was phenomenally blessed and fortunate to get that opportunity and scouted the Southeast for a year. And it was
now,
great.
Was I right? Did he say he came from Vanderbilt? Anybody, if you heard that in the chat room, put 7s in the chat room, or put yes if I heard right, because I had mentioned that earlier in the broadcast. I want to make sure, do I have that correct? He said he came from did he come from Vanderbilt? Let me just do this.
Came in as a scout for 3 years before taking over the safeties and DB room. How did that help you prepare to be a coach, especially in this organization where the scouts and coaches work so closely?
Yeah, when I came here, I came from Vanderbilt, and I had been coaching there, and always wanted to see kind of behind the curtain.
Boom, I was right. Woo! Thank God I was right. I still had that in the membrane. Thank you, everybody.
Like the Wizard of Oz, like what's really back there at the NFL. So I was phenomenally blessed and fortunate to get that opportunity and scouted the Southeast for a year, and it was great. It was great experiences. I was young, no kids, so I could be on the road for 6 weeks at a time, and it was a phenomenal learning experience. Not only seeing players, but seeing how practices are structured. You find yourself kind of watching the differences at maybe Alabama and some other places. How do they manage time? How do they go from drill to drill? Things like that. That you just try to pick up, little things from. And then after that, the next couple of years, still scouting, kind of helping Marvin on game day, whatever title that was, and just always around it.
How many are out there remember, I think, Marvin Lewis, who was the coach of Cincinnati? So he goes all the way back to the Marvin days. But one of the things that I think is exciting about him is that he said that when he was at Vanderbilt, which is in the SEC, he had a chance to see how Alabama and some of the better teams, how they structure their practices, how they go about doing certain things. So this guy has college football experience. But one of the things that I think is going to possibly, or I hope will be his strength, is that it seems like he understands personnel. He understands how to scout and see players for what their skill level is. And hopefully with that, knowing how to put players in a situation that makes them successful. He's proven that at the pro level. And he's telling you right here, his pedigree from scouting, from being able to examine the other schools in the SEC and how they go about practicing and structuring. All this, I think, everything that this guy has sucked up in his mind, I think he's going to bring a wealth of this to CU and Coach Prime and the players.
You love the guys. You love the interaction. That's kind of what you miss is the day-to-day competition, if you will, of getting ready. And so then once I did make that transition, I would like to believe that I had a lot of life experience, seeing how other people did it, knowing how I did it in the past, and just the staff we had at that point. When I first started, coaching, quote unquote, here, I was working really for Darren and for the defensive staff. So, there's few people in the world that are more prepared than Darren Simmons every week. So you learn that, no rock goes unturned. What if this happened? What if that happens? Which was, as a young coach, a phenomenal experience for me. And then the defensive staff at that point, obviously Paul, Marvin with his background. And it was just,
So what you're seeing is a young coach, up-and-coming coach, who has had some years to suck it all up, to take it all in, to learn from head coaches, position coaches, from players. So he's a young guy. He doesn't have experience, as I said before, as a defensive coordinator long-term, but I think you got to start somewhere. And I think those experiences that he's had successfully at the NFL level, and on top of the fact that he's got coaching experience coming from Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was never a world beater program, or has never been a world beater program in the SEC. But the fact that he has sucked up the college atmosphere, particularly at the SEC level, plus pro, and the players that he's been around, that he's been able to rub elbows with, you can't tell me, even if he's not the sexy pick that you wanted, you can't tell me that he's not going to be able to rub some of that off on CU, the players that they've gotten in there now to improve. I believe that the defense, with his background and pedigree, I think this defense is going to be more improved over what they did last year under Kelly. Because not only do I think he brings this pro attitude, but Coach Prime has said, we built this team outside in, meaning we built it with the skill position players first. We did it the first year. Now we're bringing in the defensive players. Now we're going to build the team from the inside out. You're going to hear Coach Prime say that on the audio on this channel today. Let's go back to this. This is fair use.
The Masters, right, in your first year. And, it was great for me. And it let me learn so much. And when the opportunity came to kind of take the next step here, again, super fortunate to be in one spot for a long time. We've been blessed, and it's been a lot of fun. Obviously, I think the world of the organization, and they've kind of.
Now, I want to read what someone said in the chat room. We got ALANM says, thank you for all your time in Cincinnati, Robert Livingston. Will be a rock star for Colorado. We got Superfly says reaction 7. Yeah, if you're feeling the podcast today, put those 7s in the chat room. I like going live. I actually like doing live streams more than uploads because one, you can interact with the people who support the channel, which I appreciate you out there, all of you that support the channel, because without you, we can't do what we're doing over here. So what I want to do is I want to put up the subscribe banner. Go right ahead, check it out. Subscribe to the channel. Share the video. I want to thank you for coming over and taking the time out of your schedule on this Saturday. I'm not going to keep you long because I know people are getting fired up for the Super Bowl this weekend. People are going out there shopping, buying food, getting hot wings, all kind of things, potato chips, all that kind of good stuff. And I really appreciate you, but definitely make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you have not, share the video on all your social media because that helps it to get more reach to people who have not yet discovered my channel. And also hit the bell and notification. Now, when I always say hit the bell notification, because you want to get alerts when I go live or when I upload a video. Another thing that's important is please like the video. Put a little thumbs up button there and click it because you know why? When you click that, it helps the video to move through the YouTube algorithms so that other people can discover the channel and the content just as you have as well. And I want to give you a clap and say thank you. So what I want to do, ladies and gentlemen, is I want to go to the next video of Robert Livingston as he breaks down more about his experiences as a coach, okay? What he's learned in Cincinnati, which is going to be fruitful for CU. So now let's get into this right now. This is where he specifically talks about the difference between college football and NFL football in particular. Here we go. This is fair use for the purpose of educating, news reporting, parody, what have you, critical analysis. This is fair use.
Kind of get your bearings, and that leads to the college side. So now all of a sudden you've got all this time invested in, okay, hey, I've studied the league, I've studied the position, I know what it takes to make it, to be successful. What are the traits that are the same? And then you go to college and you're looking for traits, candidly. I mean, college football is fast, it's wide open. The hashes are obviously way wider. It's a different game right now.
Boom. Did you hear what Livingston just said? He recognizes that college football is faster. The hash is different. It's more spread out. He understands the game. Now, remember, as I said before, he coached. He has experience at Vanderbilt in college football. He recognized that it's a different game. It's gotten faster. So he knows what he is walking into taking on college football.
And they're doing some phenomenal things on offense. So they're asking guys to make tackles in space and to cover and, to look to the sideline and get a call. And there's a lot of things that are really challenging. So that's always a fun process as well. And then just to get to know the guys, the difference in free agency and college scouting is what we talked about before. In college, you can go meet somebody and you have more of a relationship, I guess you'll say, whereas free agency, you make your calls to your buddies, hey, you coach Dave Lapham, what's he like? How does he learn? And you just kind of go from there. So there's value to both. But I do think that the time invested studying the players and again, knowing.
I think this is important, what he's saying here about knowing the players, studying the players, understanding what works. If he didn't know what he was doing, he would have never had the success. If he didn't understand players and how to develop players, and particularly how to scout players, Robert Livingston would have never had the success that he had prior to coming to CU. He would never had that success.
It is across the landscape of the NFL at that position really gives you a chance to kind of hopefully make the best and accurate decision possible.
Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about Robert Livingston now that I've kind of added some more to all the different videos that are out there on this subject matter? I wanted to add a little bit more meat to it because you got a chance to hear in 2 videos his mindset. And that is very important because we know that Coach Prime is looking for guys that have the right mindset to take his team to the next level as he is expecting to go to a next level. No, he made a bold prediction that they were going to make the playoffs because they've now moved college football to 12-team playoffs. Now, some would say out there that, hey, he's putting too much pressure on the team, on the coaches, on the players. You got to think that you can win before you can ever win the prize. If you don't think that you can, if you don't have the ideology that you can win, then you're never going to win the prize. So this whole thing about, oh, he shouldn't say that they're going to do this and that. You have to have the right mindset to be a winner. Nobody becomes winners by just saying, I think I could, I think I might could win, I think I could do this. You have to be honest with your convictions. And Coach Prime has been very honest with his convictions as to what the year is going to possibly can be. Now, the team right now, if you just be honest with yourself, everybody out there, and put 7s in the chat room if you agree with me, the team right now is better on paper in terms of the players that they've got. We know that unless you've been sleeping under the rock, it is no doubt that the offensive line is 100% light years and better than it was
Tell the truth.
just last season. And I've been saying this on this channel, if Shedeur Sanders can just stay upright, meaning if they can just keep him upright, where he has time to throw the ball, he could put up astronomical numbers at the college level. Remember in TCU, he put up 510 yards or so in his debut. Because why? The offensive line, for whatever reason, gave him better protection on that day. If Shedeur gets the protection that he deserves and needs, I'm making a prediction that he's going to break some records or he's going to put up astronomical numbers. Because I don't want to see Shedeur like this again. You see right here? I want y'all to take a look at this right now, this picture. How you doing, Alicia? Good to see you, my sister. I see you in that chat room. I want y'all, Alicia, I might be going live today or this evening on the other channel, the Information Man Show, my more political, social, and cultural channel. I'm going to be talking about the situation with Monique over there and the whole thing with her and Tyler Perry. I got some explosive information on that I'm going to present to folks on the Information Man Show, which is my other channel. But thank you for coming over. She's a mod on both channels. I don't want to see, let me stay on subject here. I don't want to see Shedeur Sanders look like this next year. This picture, I want y'all to take a good look at this picture. I think this was the game. I think this was the last game of the year. This was a game when Shedeur was completely exhausted. He had been sacked. That was the game when he was sacked so many times he had to go out of the game a couple of times. Remember? He had serious issues going on because the offensive line did not and could not, for some reason, give him the protection that was necessary. But I also want to say this, because as I examine what happened last season, and we got to be honest about this, CU has got to run the ball. If you're not running the football and you're throwing the ball every down, you become a predictable football team if you can't run the ball. The defense can just pull itself back and say, we're going after Shedeur. They can pin things back and go after Shedeur. They've got to be more committed to the running game. If they can be more committed to the running game, it would in turn take pressure off Shedeur, while at the same time making him more dangerous when he does throw the football, because they become an unpredictable football team at that point. If you agree with where I'm coming from, put 7s in the chat room. I just wanted to add that to the situation. Now you say to yourself, why did this young man, and I'm going to be talking about Warren Sapp in just a moment. There's some exciting things about Warren Sapp that you all have been hearing out there. Why did this young man right here, why did he decide to come to CU? Look, it's very simple. He's a young coach who does not have coordinator coaching experience. He's looking at CU as an opportunity to improve his resume, to get defensive coordinator experience so that he doesn't just have the experience of just being a position coach only, that if he can do well at CU as a defensive coordinator, maybe he can turn that and cash that into becoming a head coach at the college level or pro level. That's just the facts, y'all. That's just the facts.
Tell the truth.
But he can also bring something that is much needed. So with that said, let's hear why he decided, in his own words, when he was interviewed at CU. Check it out, y'all.
Okay, why finally take this job and lead the Bengals?
Yeah, we were there 12 years.
Okay.
Super blessed to be there. Have a wife,
12
4
years he was
beautiful
there.
kids, and always said right person, right place. So obviously you talked about Coach Prime, and as I drove in here today, I think I found both of them. So super excited to get to work. Got a chance to.
So right there, he's letting you know he spent 12 years with Cincinnati, family, he has children. But he's ready to get to work with CU. He's ready to improve CU's defense. This is fair use. This is news reporting, critical analysis, parody. This is fair
Meet with
use.
some of the staff today, and they're great men, and you see in their eyes just a passion for not only young men but for playing great football, and that's our goal is to put a great product out there for all the fans. And I realize how lucky and fortunate I am. I want to thank obviously Coach Prime and the AD and the Regents and everything that goes along with that for giving.
So as you can see, he's a humble young man. What's going on, Sports Stop? Dix, he runs that 3-4 hybrid defense. Yeah, Cincinnati has been running a hybrid. Now, let me just be honest with you. I don't want. Let's take a vote in the chat room. Do you want to see CU run a 3-4 hybrid defense, or do you want to see them stick to the 4-3 defense? They ran a 4-3 base defense under Coach Kelly. Should they go with a 3-4 defense? By putting a 3-4 defense out there, you get more linebackers on the field. Therefore, you create more opportunities for speed. So you're going to put more speed on the field. But the problem, to run a 3-4, you got to have a guy, a nose guard, a guy who can play nose guard, can play defensive tackle. You're relying on your 3-down linemen to be able to really plug the gaps or to open up the gaps for the linebackers to shoot the gaps. Are they ready for a defense like that? Is he going to implement that defense, or are they going to stick to a 4-3 base? What do you think? What do you think they should run? Ms. Hills, let me put this up here real quick. Let me do something. Let me put this up here. Let me read what you all are saying before I go to the next part of my let me see here. Let me read what y'all saying up front. Mr. Hills man says, I thought they ran a 4-2-5 under Kelly. I stand corrected. But sometimes, if you notice, they probably were running a 4-2-5, but there's sometimes, depending on the package, there's times where they might have been running a 4-3 defense, then moving to a 4-2-5. Thank you for making that statement. Yeah. But I have, if you go back and look at some of their games, there were games where they were in a 4-3 defense. I didn't see them play a lot of 3-4 defense. Maybe I missed something. Blue Devil Gleam says a 4-4 defense is better. Doc says he showed a blitz of 7 at the line and dropped 3 in coverage. It's going to work out good. Okay, so Dix, brother DEX Dix, saying that he ran. This is a good statement that you just put up here. He shows a blitz of 7 at the line, and he drops 3 in coverage. It's going to work out good. However, let's correct something right now. Robert Livingston, ladies and gentlemen, was not I'm not trying to be disrespectful here. He wasn't a defensive coordinator at Cincinnati. He was simply a safeties coach. So when they ran those defensive formations at Cincinnati where he's dropping 3 in coverage and blitzing, I don't think that was necessarily, all due respect to you, sir, and everybody, I don't think that was necessary Robert Livingston calling those plays. He was simply a position coach for the safeties, which is why a lot of people are saying, what? Why didn't Coach Prime go for someone who actually had defense? That's where some people might think that way. So I don't necessarily know if he was actually. Now, maybe Coach Hayes, who's just come in the house, and I got a lot of respect for brother Coach Hayes. I'm going to mod you up, Coach Hayes, because I got special respect for you. I'm going to mod you up, brother. I'm gonna mod you up real good on this channel. Coach Hayes, am I correct or wrong? Does Robert Livingston, he was mainly a safeties coach for Cincinnati. I went over his whole record. And he made great strides with people like Jessie Bates, who we made into an all-pro, Vonn Bell. He helped them become the lead tackles on that Cincinnati team. He helped them to be a vaunted defense that was pretty strong against the pass and giving up less touchdowns against. Tell me if I'm right or wrong, Coach Hayes. What's up? Love the grind. Hey, thank you, brother. We're grinding. I haven't been going live in a while, so I'm getting back on the grind, but I appreciate you coming over. I really do. Make sure y'all check out brother Coach Hayes. I'm pretty sure everybody know Coach Hayes by now, but make sure you check out his channel. He's in the chat room. He does great content. I know people have jumped on him and said, "Oh, he's a Colorado hater." No, he just makes logical statements on his channel. He asks very logical questions. He asks football questions. You got to take the emotions out of it and ask logical questions. But Coach Hayes does a great job over there. I appreciate him. Every time I've gone over to the channel, they always show me love over there. They share out my link to my channel. So I appreciate you, brother. Let me see. I'm going to, I just don't know. I don't know what kind of defense, and I got to do more research. What type of defense Robert, you can figure out what he might run based on what he's been influenced by at his time with Cincinnati. So maybe he's going to try to run that same stuff they did at Cincinnati. We'll have to see. Let me see here. Let me see. Mr. Hillman says, I wonder if they stick to the 4-2-5, being that Livingston is a secondary specialist and a Big 12 is a pass-heavy. You know what? That's a good point. The Big 12 for years has been a pass-heavy lead. The Big 12 has always gotten a knock for being a football conference. Tell me if I'm wrong or right, Coach Hayes. Being a football conference that wasn't really known for their defense, but they were known for their air raid, their air it out, right? That's been one of the criticisms of the Big 12 over the years in the past, that they were they a great lead for people putting up big numbers. And they always question, is this quarterback really that good? Because they don't really play no defense in the Big 12. That used to be the book on the Big 12, that, yeah, people put up big numbers, but do they really play defense in the Big 12? Am I right or wrong, Coach Hayes? You've been around this stuff for a long time. Let me see what Coach Hayes said. You're right. He was a position coach. Thank you. Now, Coach Hayes, one of the things I was saying today that I do think might be a positive for CU with this young man is that he seems to have a lot of experience with player development. He started off as a scout, right? He started off at Vanderbilt at one point in time. I played videos on that today. He seems to understand how to develop talent, how to scout talent, how to recognize talent. And he's been around coaches like Marvin. Remember Marvin Lewis? He's been around coaches in Cincinnati that he's kind of like a sponge. He's gotten information from, right? To him. So, and I said this earlier, he's taking this job at CU because obviously he wants to improve his resume and get to a point where he can be obviously a head coach by going into being a defensive coordinator. Now you got that on your resume. Now you've got that experience. Let me see. Thank you for sharing that link, Alicia, to my other channel. Let me see what DC Carson Music is saying. What's up, Coach? Hey, yeah, Coach Hayes is in the house. Let me read what, let me see. We got Shirley in here. We got Harold Mitchell in here, which I appreciate you coming over, brother. He says 3-4 hybrid. So you think he's going to run a 3? How do you think the 3-4 hybrid defense, if they run that under him, how does that fit the personnel for CU currently? Because it takes a while to get acclimated to a whole different defensive system from the one that they were just playing not too long ago. So how do they fit? Do they have the linebackers? If you're going to play a 3-4 defense, you need to have linebackers that can play in space and are balanced enough to be able to stop the run. They need to be able to shoot the gaps, and you need 3 down linemen, particularly a nose guard type of guy who can plug up some stuff on that line. See, so do they have currently, they picked up some defensive linemen, yes. But are those defensive linemen built to play a 3-4? You know, because coaches have to look at what is our team built for, right? You might have defensive linemen and linebackers who are not built to play a 3-4 defense or are built to play 3-4. So we got to see. We'll see how it all plays out in spring training. Let me look at some more comments here. A.R. Wilson says, I will be at CU as UCF game on September the 28th in Orlando, SEC, seat 204. All right, congratulations. Let me see what the brother says here. Coach Hayes says, yeah, used to be. Times are changing. B12 has some heavy hitters at running back. Watch out for the rushing attack in the Big 12. Yeah, you're right about that. And was that or was that not one of the problems with CU's defense last year, amongst many other things, that they could not stop the run? Teams were able to run right up the gut on them consistently. They're going to have to shore up that problem. And the question is, the defensive linemen that they've been able to pick up now through the transfer portal, will they be enough? Will they play? I'm hoping that Robert Livingston, because of his player development background, hopefully he'll look at the video from last year, look at the players he's got this year, and say to himself, we can't play this type of defense. We got to play more zone. We can't play man-to-man. Maybe we got to play a little bit. He's got to look at what he can do, obviously, with this team. And are they going to be more of a blitzing team this year? Are they? And look, the way you can help a defense, tell me if I'm wrong or right, Coach Hayes, the way you can help a defense's best friend is a damn good running game.
Tell the truth.
I'm going to say it again. CU has got to get out of being this one-dimensional, throw the ball first. They got to run the game. They got to run the ball, control clock, control time of possession. That running game can be a defense's best friend if you have a defense that's got some chinks in its armor, because now that defense is not on the field all throughout the game getting shredded up, because the offense can't stay on the field long enough before the defense is back out there getting shredded up. So it all goes hand in hand, tangibly, interchangeably is what I really should be saying here. Let's go back and get some more answers. We got great people in the chat room today. Coach Hayes Football says, I don't believe they have the right body types to use the 30 front as a base defense. It can be used situationally. Facts.
Tell the truth.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Coach Hayes. You're coming in here. You're giving us wisdom. You're giving us experience. So we just have to see. What I want to do is like I said, we got to sometimes take a step back, use logic in our thinking, and take the emotions out. Yes, I want them to be successful this year. Yes, I want Shedeur to throw for thousands of yards. Yes, I want to see Coach Prime prove his haters, his critics wrong. But at the same time, we have to also really look at this from a point of view of football, critical football analysis and understanding that he's got damn near a whole new team all over again and going into a whole new football conference, which they're going to have to get adjusted. And he's got new coaches coming in who have to adjust to the players, and the players have to adjust to the coaches. This is just obvious stuff that I'm saying to you all. And you all know these things. Let me see here. Shedeur said that the choice players were the reason he's too slow to decide where to throw the ball. Well, I think, Coach Hayes, you talked about this on your channel, and I'm going to piggyback off you because I've said this on this channel too after listening to you about this, and it makes sense. Every time Shedeur was throwing the ball, they were throwing the ball deep behind the chains. So the routes that the players were running had to be deeper routes, which meant Shedeur had to hold on to the ball longer than he would if they were like in 2nd and 6, 3rd and 5 versus being 2nd and 15, 1st and 15, like where they get a penalty and now they're brought back. And now Shedeur is at a 3rd and 15. Now the receivers have to go what? They have to go deeper into their routes because they're further behind the chains. Shedeur is, because when everybody was saying, well, Shedeur holds on to the ball too long. Well, he was holding on to the ball because he has to allow his receivers to get deeper into their routes. If they're running the ball and controlling the clock and they're giving Shedeur 2nd and 6, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7, 2nd and 7, when you got that type of short yardage to get a first down, you can run anything now. Your playbook opens up to more imaginative plays.
Tell the truth.
Right. Coach Hayes is right. They were not able to win their first downs. They kept being in these deficits. And then if you notice, as the season went on, they kept getting penalties. They've got to clean that up. Now, we saw Coach Prime say it many a times. We saw it on video, how frustrated he was getting, how tired he was getting of the mistakes that they were making. And so this new year that they have is an opportunity for them to clean up the things that were happening. Let me let you hear Coach Prime right now, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you all being here. Let me let y'all hear an audio of Coach Prime at the NFL, at the Super Bowl, where he was being interviewed about what he's looking for in this 2024 season. And he's optimistic, and I don't blame him for being optimistic. What do we want to do? We want Coach Prime to come out and say, we ain't going to win. No, every coach is going to be optimistic about their team. Let's hear him right now. This is audio. This is audio, everybody. Listen up.
Thank you, Coach. I feel like this year's team already has a different level of bonds.
Yes.
Is that something that you have kind of focused on?
I'm focusing on relationships this year. I'm focused on really coaching staff and the players getting to know one another. I don't even like them at the table and the training table on their phones. Put the darn phones in the middle of the table and you guys talk, get to know each other, so that you have a sort of bond that you got each other's back. Like you guys, you got each other's back, you know?
Yes, sir.
And that's what we want for those young men. And I love it, and I love it where we're going. Now, let me give you this, so most people don't know. You got to understand how you build it. Most people had not even understood how we build it. What's my biggest attractability? Skill positions. So we built it from the outside in, not the inside out. So we started out with the outside. So that's why you saw the skill positions, all that, plentiful, and they balled out. We were garbage on the inside. So what we go out and do now? The second phase of this building process is now you build it from the inside out because you already got the outside. But no, so we went out and got the linemen on both sides, a couple linebackers, a couple more corners, a couple more receivers for Shador to have a good time with, tight end, and we're cool and we're not done. We're not done. Soon after spring, there's going to be some more additions. But that was the strategy, and we're staying on the path.
Speaking of the lineman coach, Jordan Seaton, obviously a massive recruiting win for you. What has been the most impressive thing you've seen from him so far since he's been in Boulder?
His humility, because we have some linemen now that are grown men that don't play. And he being humble enough to listen to them and glean from them because they've been in college football for a few years now and they know what they're talking about and they know how to prepare, they know how to train. And you got to see them. You guys got to come in just to see them work out, man. And you'll see what I'm talking about. It's a whole different game. It's a whole different thought process. It's a whole different kid that's inside the complex now. And all of them have NFL grades, which means we've gone to the NFL and say, okay.
Hey, thank you, Coach Hayes, for that, brother. I try to make my productions as great as possible. We're just gonna keep doing what we're doing over here. Once again, everybody, make sure y'all subscribe to Coach Hayes' channel. He's a known commodity on these YouTube streets. Everybody knows him. He's fantastic. He gives honest, critical analysis on his channel, even if you don't like when he gives critical analysis as it relates to CU. But I got to be honest, Coach Hayes gives an honest analysis, and hopefully at some point in time, brother, I can get you on this channel and interview you about your background in coaching. Hell, I might even try to get you on both my channels about your background in my other channel, which is more cultural and political and social and cultural. I might get you on that channel as well as this to talk about your background in coaching and things that you've been through. So I appreciate that. Let's get back to this audio because I have a few more things I want to show you all or present to you before we end this stream today. And I hope everybody's having a great morning, a great day, and I hope y'all enjoy the Super Bowl this upcoming Sunday. I am a 49ers fan, and I say go Niners. All right, let's get back to this so that we can get to other things I want to show you. I want to get into a little bit about Warren Sapp and his situation, but here we go.
Where's this kid projected? All those guys have NFL grades, and that's a beautiful thing.
Coach, you get a lot of hate, but you also get a lot of love. How do you make sure that the love is louder than the hate?
That's on you.
Bishop Frank, thank you, doctor. Thank you for coming over, sir. Much respect to you, and bless you. I just want to give respect to people in the chat room. Let's continue.
For you, though, personally.
See, you may be the kind of guy, and I'm not categorizing you, that if you have 10 comments and 9 of them are positive, you're going to look at the one that's hateful, and you're going to project that and talk about that. I'm not built like that. I'm a love guy. I'm a passionate guy. I'm a guy that looks for positivity. So I don't give a darn about the people who may have tweeted that or Instagram that or commented on that. I don't give a darn about that because they can't make me or they can't break me. So I'm good with that. You're going to get, when you're somebody and you're making waves, you're going to get an opinion or comment from everybody. But don't allow that to cause you to forget who you are. Yeah.
I want to say this. Once again, Coach Prime knows he has people that hate on him. He says you got to stay focused. You got to stay positive. And I like that he stays positive. It's up, let's leave that. Those of us who are not coaches or that we follow the team as novice to this whole thing, I'm going to say this again. I think there's nothing wrong with having a healthy desire to see them be successful. I want to see them be successful. But within that, we also have to be realistic. We have to understand that, and we said this all last year, that what Coach Prime is building at CU, it's a process. He's also learning. The players are learning. He's going to get better players in. It's going to take a time. It's going to take a grind. I know he said that they're going to make the 12-team playoff. I know some people say, hey, that's a scratch. Come on, let's prove it on the field. I understand why he's saying that. I mean, what coaches of football teams in this country are going to come out and tell you, I think we're going to lose all our games? Nobody's going to tell you that. You have to have the right mindset to ever be successful. So I think that's just Coach Prime. If you know him from back in his days when he was a player, that's who he is. And that's the one thing, I don't think Coach Prime has stopped being who he is. Yes, he's boastful. He'll tell you what's on his mind. He'll say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Yes, they went 4-8 last year, which technically is an improvement over them going 0, not winning any games. But I'm going to be honest, there's going to be pressure on CU this year, bigger than it was last year. I think people are going to be looking for better things because Coach Prime is saying there's going to be better things. He's already said on that audio that you heard that he feels that he's got real players in the building now, particularly on that offensive line. So we'll have to see how this all plays out. I'm going to say it again for the record. I want to see them be successful. I think the schedule, as I looked at it, and I brought this up before, the schedule doesn't look as grindy or as tough. And maybe I'm wrong. It doesn't look as tough as it did the year before. North Dakota State, can they beat that team? I don't see why not. They beat Nebraska last year. Could they beat Nebraska? I don't see now why not. But of course, you know these teams are going to get better as well with their recruitment. We know that the Colorado State game is going to be definitely a hard game because you know Colorado is going to be gunning to get revenge for the loss. So I don't suspect that that's going to be just a walk in the cake. Then they've got Arizona, Utah. We know that Utah brings a lot to the table. Baylor, they could play with Baylor. Oklahoma State, they could play with Oklahoma State. Cincinnati, UCF will be a tough game, believe it or not. I think they just got to take one game at a time, focus on one team at a time. They've got to have a balanced offense. I'm going to say it again. For the cheap seats and the expensive seats at the ball game. They've got to get their running game and be dedicated to the running game consistently to take pressure off Shedeur. I want to read something that someone left in the chat room. I think I got this right here. Let me put this up here again. I think I saw what you wrote. I want to put this in here, right here. Here we are from DC Carson. DC Carson made a good point to what I'm trying to say here. If a team can run on you, they can neutralize CU's biggest weapons in the Shedeur and Travis combination. Correct.
Tell the truth.
Because running keeps Shedeur on the bench. Yeah, because you're eating up time of possession, you're eating up the clock, you're controlling the game, and you keep the other team's quarterback on the sideline, which is what the 49ers got to do against Kansas. Because we know, I'm going to be honest, we know that Patrick Mahomes is the more superior quarterback. My 49ers are going to have to run the ball, which they can, with McCaffrey to keep Patrick Mahomes' ass on the sideline. Well, I'm glad you wrote that because that's the same methodology that I hope that Pat Shurmur, as the offensive coordinator who has NFL experience as well, that I hope he does something that Sean Kelly didn't seem to be willing to do, and that is stick to the running game when you need to run. Run when you should be running and pass when you should be. And then you can mix it up and throw teams off guard when you might want to throw the ball when you really should run. But if you can throw them off guard with a good running game, that's going to open up the world to Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter and all the other talented players that they have added to the roster. If you agree with where I'm coming from, put sevens in the chat room. Let's go back and see what other people are saying. Ranch Beater, who hurt you? Ranch Beater, what's going on? What's going on? What do you got to say here? Not hating on Coach Prime or the Colorado football program, but I do hate their fans. They are those worst people and have no sportsmanship. You know, Ranch Beater, don't get caught up with fans. Fans are what they are. What does the word fan represent? The word fan means what? If you break it down, it means fanatic. So don't get caught up. Everybody's fans of their team can be a little out there in every sport, sir. It's not just Colorado. Everybody's got some fans out there that can get under your skin. But remember, the word fan really, when you break it down, means fanatic. Let me see what this, we got Big Bro says, this dude don't know shit. That's just comment. Who just commented? Oh, you're talking about Ranch Beater. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm trying to stay and keep myself in the logic aspect of talking about this football team and Coach Prime and the players. I want to get out of the emotions of it, you see, because emotionally you say, oh, I don't like this. Look, we all can have our criticisms, right? We all have our opinions. We're entitled to our opinions, as they say, but we're not always entitled to our own facts if what we're saying isn't based in facts. Okay, we have to link up. Yeah, we definitely, yeah. I'll DM you on Twitter. I think I follow you on Twitter anyway, and you follow me. No problem, brother. I appreciate you coming through. Let me see what people are saying here. Let me see. We got Dix, who says Pat Shurmur is going to run a balanced offense. Yes.
Tell the truth.
And I like the idea of him running a balanced offense. I really do. Now, let me go to the next part of my presentation, y'all. Let's talk about this man right here. I'm excited about this guy right here, and that is Warren Sapp, the Hall of Famer. The Hall of Famer himself. Warren Sapp, the Hall of Famer, has confirmed it again. He is going to be with CU in March. He said he's packing his bags and he's getting ready to join up with Coach Prime and CU in March. He's a Hall of Famer. He talked about how there was something about, he's always wanted to be in coaching. He's always had aspiration to be a coach. He said when he went to CU, all those defensive linemen were trying to pull from his mind, trying to get information. Let me let you hear what he had to say. He was also at the Super Bowl right now down there at the media tables. And this is what he had to say. Check this out.
You kind of showed interest last season in getting into coaching, and it feels like you're
it goes a little bit further back to that. But I was just visiting, looking around, and all of a sudden I found myself surrounded in the hot tub by 5 defensive linemen that were trying to suck every piece of knowledge they could get out of me. And I said, okay, I think I found home. Yeah. I think I found home in a place where a bunch of young men really want to chomp and grump at the bit. And I love it because I've been around professional athletes that'll tell you, yeah, dog, I'm going to call you. I'll be over there next. Crickets. So I'm going to go somewhere where I think I'm wanted.
Well, we would love to have you.
We would love to have you. And last year, Colorado was pretty weak in the trenches. What was that like for you watching that unfold?
I just watched. You can't put emotions in it. Especially when it's not something I'll be held responsible for. So I was just looking from a distance.
Now, did you hear what Warren Sapp stated there? I've been saying it right here. He said that they tried to kind of not bait him, but hey, what did you think about what was happening to their defense when it came to them being run on and shredded up? And he said the thing that I've been saying. Warren Sapp said, I can't put emotions into it. I just had to watch it, examine it, because You know why? Because he's thinking about what he would do, what he would teach the kids, what techniques he would give them. Football is an emotional sport. But when you're a coach, you got to know how to balance between your emotions with your players as well as your logical analyzation about what's going on. That's what I like about what Warren Sapp just said there. Let's continue.
But I'll have my hand in it. So
let's go.
then you'll have an opportunity to ask me, and then I'll have something to talk to you about.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Got to give a shout out to our guy Uncle Neely, who is
your home. No, that's Neely's our guy. Good, great.
And so he said it clearly. I'll have a hand in what's going on now, so now I can fix what the problems are. It's hard to be able to do something if you ain't got your hands on it quite yet. Remember, this brother had to go back to school to finish his degree in order to be eligible to be coaching to be part of CU staff. As he has said, and you're going to hear in this audio, that he's getting his bags packed for this March.
Great dude. That's my guy, man. Yeah. He's so fun. Do a good job, too. Really good job.
So you said March is kind of the goal?
March is when I'm coming.
You're coming?
That's what I was told.
Stamp it.
That's what Prime said.
All right. If he said it.
So if Prime tell me I'm coming in March, then stamp it, right?
Yes.
So I'm stamping it.
We're stamping it.
My bags are packed. I'm ready to go.
Let's go.
All right. He said his bags are packed. He's ready to go. I'm excited for him. You should be excited for him. The question is, what is his role going to be with the program? What is Warren Sapp's role going to be? Because he's just graduated from college and completed his degree, many of us figure, hey, he's going to be hands-on with the defensive line, which makes complete sense. Warren Sapp, his spot on the team has been confirmed. He will be working, ladies and gentlemen, as a graduate assistant to Coach Prime in the program. A graduate assistant, to be honest with you, is simply a minor position in terms of his position as personnel. It's seen as a minor position which can lead to advancement. So it's baby steps for Warren Sapp. It's going to be baby steps for him to work himself up to being a defensive coordinator, maybe. So he'll be working as an assistant because being a graduate, gaining more experience to his pedigree. And then he's going to have to show and improve, meaning he's going to have to show what he can do to consult them, to work with the defensive linemen, and improve them in their defensive front. And I'm sure they'll probably, I'm just guessing, that Warren Sapp will be a good addition to recruiting. Can you imagine Warren Sapp walking through your front door, recruiting you to come to see you, especially if you are a defensive lineman? If Coach Prime, which I know he's intelligent, I got to say that I bet you Coach Prime is going to have this man walking through the door. When they're particularly recruiting defensive linemen, you got Warren Sapp walking through your door to recruit you there, to tell you that, hey, young man, come on to see you. I've got years of experience as a professional football player. I got a yellow jacket. I'm in the Hall of Fame. I've been where you are, where you want to go. And I can also teach you the techniques to get to where I was. How many damn coaches, head coaches or position coaches in his situation, can do what Warren Sapp could do from a recruitment point of view specifically? Y'all hear what I'm saying?
Tell the truth.
Thank you. Good to see you, PGH, Big Dog. Good to see you over here. Much respect to you. If you hear where I'm coming from with that point, put some sevens in the chat room. So he's going to start. He's going to be a graduate assistant working with Coach Prime. It's a stepping stone, as they've been saying out there in the media. It's a stepping stone for him to advance although a minor position, but it's a stepping stone for him to get to where he really wants to be as a coach. And Coach Prime is making it happen for him. And we got to be honest. Warren Sapp has made this happen for himself through being diligent enough to go back to school, complete his degree, get the requirements that's necessary to at least work as an assistant, a position assistant, or some assistant position as a graduate on this football program. So I think we should give Warren Sapp and Coach Prime, we should give them kudos again. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being a part of the show today. Make sure you share this video in all your social media. I thank you. I see Alicia. I see Mr. Hills, man. I see Shirley coming in. She says, I'm just glad he's there. Let me pull you up here, because I appreciate what everybody's doing before I get ready to end the show today. I'm a bit nervous about Sapp. I know he's who he is, but one thing about him that worries me is he seems quick to respond, slow. I understand your concern. We know that Sapp has had some things that have happened in the past with him. I'm not going to get into that. I don't want to trash him here, but I understand your concern. Let's just say, let's think positively. We know that Coach Prime won't accept mediocrity. We know that Coach Prime is not going to accept nonsense. So hopefully, because Coach Prime has opened this door for him, hopefully Warren Sapp won't let Coach Prime down.
Tell
right?
the truth.
Right? Because he has, as you heard on that audio, he's been chipping at the bits to get into coaching. And it's Coach Prime, CU, as well as him working to get his degree, that is opening up the door for him to launch a new career. Because remember, Warren Sapp used to be on television, and because of what happened some years ago at a Super Bowl, and I'm not going to get into the details here about that, he had a great career on television as an analyst, and that got derailed due to some personal things that he engaged in some years ago at a Super Bowl. Once again, I don't want to get into the details of that. But you all know what I'm talking about. So hopefully he will not do anything to let Coach Prime down, to throw this opportunity in the toilet. And personally, I don't think that Warren Sapp is going to do that, because I think the relationship between him and Prime is just too damn strong.
Tell the truth.
For this to happen. Then that's what my wishes and my hopes are, y'all. You see what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying, everybody. Put sevens in the chat if you get what I'm saying. Let's go over to Elijah Watson says, Coach Sapp is fine. We need him. Thank you, brother. Good points. We got Willie Wonka. So what's going on? Greetings. Hey, greetings to you, brother. Thank you for coming over and checking out the channel. I appreciate you. We'll be going live like this more often. I still do uploaded videos. I did I think I uploaded a video last week, and I uploaded a video a week before that. I'm going to upload another video very quickly after this video, in the next couple of days. I think I'm going to launch another video to get things cranking back again over here as they need to be. So let me see. Willie Bear says, nothing to worry about. Sapp is going to be a great part of assisting the players in playing harder. Let's forget out 13 years ago. Facts. William Berry, which is why I didn't want to get into the details of that, right? And thank you. The Bishop has come back in. Let's see what the Bishop is saying. Bishop says this, big salute, CU Barbershop. Yeah, hey, I love what they got going on there with the barbershop. And look, I love it all. Let me go with Shirley, who says this. I am just glad he's there for these young guys that want to be taught by Sapp. Fantastic. Let me see. We've got Alicia in the house. She says, you are welcome. Great live. Hey, thank you, Alicia. Thank you very much. And peace out there to Chi-Town as well. I'm going to get ready, everybody, because I know everybody's got things to do today. Let me see. Not sure. This is what Mr. Hillsman said. Not sure how much interaction a grad assistant has with the players, but I'm hoping that quick to respond, slow to listen doesn't hinder him. Right. Well, I think because Coach Prime knows Warren Sapp, I think Sapp is going to have a lot of interaction with the players. Why? See, the thing is, why would Coach Prime want Sapp in the program only to not let him have interaction with the players when Sapp has said on several occasions that that's the thing that really caught his attention, how the players gravitated towards him and wanted answers from him about how to play the position. He said that they were asking him questions more than guys in the NFL that he'd been around would ask him questions. So I think good things are on the horizon, folks. We got William Berry who says, I understand his path. Yeah, I already read that. So with that said, everybody, I think I'm going to get ready to get on out of here. Let you all enjoy the rest of your weekend. Tell somebody that you love them. And I really appreciate you all. Tell somebody that you love them, and I really appreciate y'all. So let's get ready to get out of here. It's been a great stream today. I'm glad that I was able to go live. It's been a minute since I've gone live. And, hey, I appreciate it. Let's hit the music. Peace, everybody. Take care. I respect you all. Thank you. Make sure you share the video. Excuse me. In your community tab, if you're a content creator, share it in all your social media. Tell people about the channel. I will be back with another uploaded video very soon, and we'll be going live again next week as well. So I appreciate you all. Hopefully, if something breaks that's exciting for the team, I'll be looking forward to breaking the news to you like everybody else that talks about this particular subject matter. Coach Prime, see you. I'll see you all soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.